So the DAZN Boxing Show is on the road from Phoenix, Arizona as the Gorilla steps back into the Lion's Den this weekend when John Ryder takes on the undefeated super middleweight powerhouse, Jaime Munguia. Our main event on Saturday is a big one, isn't it? Jaime Munguia versus John Ryder in the 168-pound division, a very competitive division. John Ryder joins us now. I've never really spoke to you about your Canelo experience. I want to ask about Munguia, but I do want to ask you, what was the feeling before the Canelo fight? So changing room, in the ring waiting for him, and what was the feeling after the fight?
The feeling before was crazy. Obviously, everything was with a police escort, like something you see at Sicario,
really?
like down the road, police motorbikes navigating you and in and out of traffic. So that was crazy. It was just about getting to the arena safe and not crashing on the way. And then obviously getting to the arena, it was a nice big changing room. But you're not seeing what's outside the stadium full of fierce Mexican fans.
Yeah. No, you were in his backyard. You know when people say I'm fighting someone in his backyard?
Oh yeah.
That was his backyard. Did you find out something about yourself during that fight?
Learned a lot about myself. I wish I had that fight. I say this so often now. I wish I had that fight 10 years ago. I think it has stood me in such good stead moving forward. I feel like it would have almost guaranteed me becoming world champion because I learned so much about myself there. The depth I was willing to go to and what I had to do to win. Obviously, I came up short, but against a great opponent.
Well, speaking of that, if you did learn something off that Canelo experience of Mexican fighting in Mexico, what do you bring to that fighting another Mexican, strong Mexican here in a Mexican populated area in Phoenix?
It's tough, in boxing, patience is key, and I think we fail to realise that at times. You've got to be patient, you've got to pick your shots, you've got to lay traps and set yourself up for shots, but we're all rushing to throw our shots and get our work off, but I think in times you've got to slow it down, think and fight at your own pace.
Old bull mentality, or old gorilla mentality.
Old gorilla mentality, yeah. I think Canelo showed me a lot that night, and things I look to use in moving forward.
Surely you come into this one with a lot of confidence though, John. You fought the number one, right, 168 pounds, an all-time great, a pound for pound, top 5, I think, still in Canelo. Munguia is not that. Obviously, he's young, he's probably less inexperienced, but he's not Canelo.
Yeah, I think, but listen, Canelo was the biggest threat to my career at the time. Now it's Jaime Munguia. I want to keep this train chugging, and a loss here would probably stop that for me. So it's about getting more big fights. I want another crack at a world title. I mean, I'm 35 years young now, and I would love to end this career with a world title. So I've got to get that win Saturday. That's the most important thing, first and foremost, to get that win and to get another crack.
What do you make of him as a fighter? Some people still second-guess him. Some people are not sure. You look at the record, 42 wins, unbeaten. But you look at there's not many big names on that. What do you make of him?
Well, listen, 42 have tried and 42 have failed.
Yeah,
it's up to me now, number 43. And I believe I bring something different. I'm experienced. I'm probably at my best now for experience and knowledge of the fight game and what I've learned along the way. So, listen, I'm going in there good. I've had a great camp. I leave no stone unturned. I've got a great team out with me. I've got great support. So I want to leave it all in the ring Saturday night.
Last question for me, John. I mean, he's coming off a fight of the year type fight with Derevyanchenko. Is there anything you picked up in that Derevyanchenko fight that you can do? You guys have similar stature, similar height, similar punching and aggression. Anything you picked up that you can actually take into this fight?
That he can be hit. He's there to be hit. He'll be hit all night, and he'll keep ploughing forward. But it's about just being patient, picking your shots, and being sensible at times.
Good luck, John.
Thank you.
Good luck indeed, John. Final one from me. Obviously, look, your hometown crowd, a few of them have turned up as well. What's it like, though, fighting away from home? You've done it a few times now in America. What's it like?
I enjoy it. I mean, I'm a family man first and foremost, so I like to be in and around my kids, seeing them on fight week, and it's probably not the best thing for me. It's time to dial in and focus. Yeah. So here, being tucked away in the hotel, the team on me, and it's probably the best thing for me at the stage of my career. And
you're certainly focused. Good luck on Saturday. John Ryder takes on Jaime Munguia. Cheers, John.
Thank you.
He wants to take on the world.
Could it be the next big thing?
Big right hand breaks through. And Munguia filling those gaps. And down goes Derevyanchenko.
He's taking on all challenges.
Heart of a lion, John Ryder.
He's a warrior.
What a fight! What a fight we have here in our main event. We got Grace under pressure.
Jaime Munguia takes on John Ryder this Saturday and a fight where I think the winner's going to go on and probably fight for a world title. He joins us now alongside his translator. Jaime, you're the A side in this fight. With that being said, the A side normally chooses who they're going to fight. Why did you choose John Ryder?
Bueno, pues yo pienso que es un gran peleador, viene de una gran pelea con uno de los mejores en las 168 libras. Obviamente, pues siempre queremos pelear con los que están rankeados en la división. Y pues yo pienso que John Ryder también, a pesar de que es uno de los mejores, es una pelea muy atractiva para la gente.
He is a great fighter. He comes from a great fight on 168. He is a fighter that has shown that he can do things, big things, and we want that. And this fight, I picked it for the people. The people deserve good fights, and this is a good fight.
He's coming off a Fight of the Year candidate with Sergey Derevyanchenko. Does he see a similar style and a similar strength and stature in John Ryder and Derevyanchenko?
Es un estilo similar, una estatura y fuerza similar de Derevyanchenko ahora a Ryder y a la pelea que vienes a pelear. Tal vez consideras que pueda ser candidata a pelea del año.
Pienso que puede ser, la verdad yo pienso que puedo ganarle mejor, que puedo hacer una mejor pelea que la que hice con Sergey Derevyanchenko. Entonces yo creo que va a ser mejor para mi lado.
I think it's going to be a better fight from my side. We did a great fight against Derevyanchenko, but now this fight I think is going to be better for us. He's a good fighter, but we're ready. And like I said, I think this fight is going to be better, especially from my side.
Well, if we get a better fight than the Fight of the Year of last year, I mean, we're already in it for 2024. But no, and the second question to this, do you think you need a knockout to win it for Canelo and the big names to look your way and are going to be looking for it?
Pues la verdad yo creo que hay mucha gente dice que si me siento presionado porque Canelo no lo noqueó, que si yo lo voy a noquear, pero la verdad es que no. Yo la verdad voy a tratar de hacer mi trabajo, hacer lo mejor posible arriba del ring, para lo que me preparé, seguir la estrategia que yo tengo, ajustar arriba del ring y si se puede noquear, que yo pienso que sí, lo vamos a noquear. Si no, estoy listo para los 12 rounds.
That's what a lot of people think. People think that I need to knock him out, and I know I can knock him out, but I'm ready for the 12 rounds. It's going to be a tough fight. He's a tough fighter, but we're ready for whatever.
I know you're obviously thinking of the next man. The next man is John Ryder. But 168-pound division, so many fighters. Not just Canelo, there's Benavidez, there's Mbili, there's David Morrell. If you come through and it's not Canelo, who do you want to fight next?
Bueno, pues primero que nada tenemos que pasar el reto de mañana, pero yo creo que que estoy confiado en que por mi preparación, estoy confiado en que vamos a pasar muy bien este reto. Pues vamos a ver qué es lo que viene, lo que sea mejor para la gente, para ustedes, para el público y pues lo mejor también para mí.
Let's start with tomorrow's. Tomorrow's challenge is a big one. I believe I can conquer that challenge, and whatever happens next, that's what is going to happen. We cannot force it, but first, tomorrow. Big challenge. Let's move forward from tomorrow. Then, once we win, then we can look ahead.
So many other big fights at 160. You're a former champion at 154. Would you go back down to 160 if the big fight comes and it's in front of you?
En caso de que la próxima pelea no fuera tan grande en un peso arriba, ¿te regresarías a tu peso anterior?
La verdad no lo sé, sí lo he pensado, sí he pensado tal vez en volver a las 160, pero pienso yo que es mucho desgaste para mi cuerpo, me cuesta mucho trabajo llegar. A 168 llego bien, no tengo problemas, pero siento que para las 160 libras sí sería un gran sacrificio.
I've thought about it, but now thinking about it, it's going to be a great challenge for me to go back down, because it's hard for me to make that weight. Now at 168, I can make the weight and I can fight freely. But I've thought about it, but I think if it was to happen, it was going to be a big challenge, not only for me mentally, but physically, but hopefully we can move forward.
Look, so many great fights on DAZN this year. Obviously, this kicks off a fantastic year for DAZN. Jaime Munguia versus John Ryder. But stick with us, because 2024 is going to bring you so much more.
This will be the greatest atmosphere you have ever witnessed in a boxing ring.
Here we go. Every time he threw the hooks, they had effect. What a fight! Straight down the pipe, and then the finish was emphatic. Tremendous action. Unbelievable.
His professional record of perfect rounds.
Boxing history is about to be made.
Still, this is a championship fight.
It's not just action stateside on DAZN this weekend. There's also an exciting card live from Belfast. And there to look into it for us, Darren Barker, former IBF middleweight champion, alongside Jaime Ward.
Well, Jaime Ward here alongside me, former IBF world middleweight champion, dazzling Darren Barker. Darren, just wrapped up the final press conference here in Belfast. A big card, a 7-fight card. What sticks out for you, I guess, firstly, when you look at that main event?
Yeah, I mean, the main event, after hearing them speak there, I think it promises to be fireworks. Two big punchers. Lewis Crocker, I was so impressed with him against McKenna. I hadn't seen a great deal of him. I knew of him, but to see him in the flesh was really impressive. There's more to him than just a physical monster. You know, his variation is on point. His defense is very cute when it needs to be, and I was really impressed. Felix, we've seen what he can do. You know, ripped up the script completely in Dublin. And, you know, we was looking at Cully as a future star back then. And, no, he made it about him that night, Felix. So you look at this, you hear what they're saying. That promises to be a great fight. And top to bottom, we've got a bit of everything, Jamie. You've got rising stars, you've got prospects, you've got grudge matches. Fantastic.
Well, let's talk about the chief support as well, because when you look at rising stars, 7-0 Olympian Siobhan Clarke from the recent crop in Tokyo, of course, takes a big step up in calibre against the former European champion, the very popular Tommy McCarthy. What do you see this fight in terms of a crossroads, a bridge fight to the next level for Chev? What do you see?
Well, straight away, I see the fight. I think it's brilliant matchmaking. I think it's a great gauger to see where Chev is. And on the flip side, it's a fight that Tommy needs to show, look, there's still plenty more left. You know, I think 33 years old, there is still time for Tommy. He's got a lot of experience. I think it's 25 fights, only the 5 defeats. But there's a lot of class there. There is a lot of experience there. And a win here against Siobhan could really kickstart his career again. But Chev, he's looked brutal, hasn't he? He's looked so dangerous. And you're just hearing him there today, the confidence that is coming out of him, it is terrific.
Well, they are two brilliant fights to look forward to on a 7-fight card live on DAZN. That's 7 p.m. GMT time, UK time. Join us for all the action on DAZN, 2 p.m. Eastern time from Belfast. Your main event, Lewis Crocker versus Jose Felix.
That's what's coming your way in the UK, and here's a reminder of what's on the main card right here in Arizona. We start with a super bantamweight contest as Alan Romero takes on Eric Ruiz. The IBF flyweight title is on the line when Gabriela Fundora takes on Christina Cruz. Unbeaten, Darius Fulgham looks to make it 10 out of 10 against Alantes Fox. Our co-main event is for the WBO minimum weight crown as Oscar Collazo and Renarius Gutierrez go head-to-head. And then the main event is the super middleweight showdown between unbeaten Jaime Munguia and former world title challenger John Ryder. All right, let's talk about our main event, Jaime Munguia versus John Ryder. Both guys coming off, I think, good performances. Munguia tested against Derevyanchenko, and I think fair to say Ryder surprised a few people against Canelo. Let's start with Munguia. Where is he for you? Especially in this super middleweight conversation. Obviously, you've moved up now to the 168-pound limit. Where is he?
Well, he's a former champion. He's undefeated. He's still young, and they're moving him very carefully, I should say. Actually, overly carefully. They're putting him up against gatekeepers. They're putting him up against former champions, and he's passed the test. He's unblemished. He's undefeated. But we want that big fight, and I think with a big knockout win, he has to knock out Ryder in order for him to get the attention of the big dogs at 168. So if he can knock out a fighter that's only been stopped one time, that was way back in 2015, that's how you get the attention of everybody. That's how the Mexican becomes a Mexican star. Yeah.
When you say moving him carefully, is Ryder still carefully for you? Is that a step up from Derevyanchenko, or is it still kind of just the same?
It's the same. Derevyanchenko's been in there with the Golovkins and everyone else.
At 160, though.
At 160, you're right. Yeah. And Ryder is at 160, a natural 168-pounder. So I would say it is a step up. You know what? Now that you bring it up like that, because he's a natural super middleweight, and he's been in there with the absolute best at 168, and he's only been stopped one time on his feet in a fight he was winning. So if Munguia can make a statement and do something that Canelo couldn't do and knock him out, that's how you get all eyes on you.
It certainly is. Look, obviously he wants Canelo. Everyone in the 168-pound division wants Canelo. The likelihood is he doesn't get Canelo next. If he comes through Ryder, comes through unscathed, what's next? Is it a Berlanga? Is it a David Morrell? Is it a Caleb Plant? Is it a Benavidez? What's next?
I think Berlanga is the one that makes a lot of sense because not only is it a promotable fight, but it's a fight that's in-house per se, quote unquote. So Actually, no, it's not. It's Golden Boy
Golden
and
yeah.
Matchroom. Okay.
It's good though. No, we working together. It's DAZN, so it's one house.
So it's going to be the Zone 1 house, absolutely. But that's the fight that makes sense because Mexico, Puerto Rico, it will sell out. It'll be just as popular in the West Coast that it is in the East Coast in New York. I think that's a fight to make.
Yeah, a few props for John Ryder. Obviously, back-to-back tough fights. What kind of fight are you expecting the Gorilla to put on?
Like he always puts on.
Yeah.
You know,
he's going to be on your chest, doing everything.
Here's the thing, man. He's not just a straight pressure puncher. He's pretty nifty with his feet. He gets angles. He knows how to use that southpaw angle. And then when you finally do land a punch, the man could take a big punch. He has a chin. So it's going to be one of these rough fights, physical fights. Munguia likes physical fights. But in order for Ryder to win, he's going to have to check that physicality. He can't just fight Munguia's fight. He's going to have to give him a little bit of what Munguia wants and then take it away from him and box him and then start fast as well, just like Darren did against Munguia.
Was you surprised Ryder's performance against Canelo? Did that surprise you?
It did.
Yeah?
It did because not only was it a popular homecoming for Canelo and Ryder, we know what he is. He gives everything. But it was stylistically a good fight for Canelo to look good. In a tiny ring, it was like an 18-foot ring.
It looked tinier than 18.
Mexico.
It looked like a 16 by 16.
So the fact that he dropped him, he hurt him, broke Ryder's nose, and he almost had him out of there. Man, just credit to Ryder. I think it was a moral victory for John Ryder going 12 rounds with Canelo the way he did instead of Canelo, going for the knockout, looking sensational in front of 50,000 plus.
Yeah, all right, that's the main event. Some good undercard fights as well. One of those undercard fighters is Darius Fulgham, looking to go 10-0, 10 knockouts potentially. He takes on the experienced Atlantis Fox. What are you making of that one?
Well, two tall fighters. Normally, a very tall fighter in Fulgham, who's 6'1", they're accustomed to being the big man, the tall man, and using their range. Now he's going to fight a fighter in Fox who's 6'4", but if you see him in person, he's more like 6'5".
Honestly, dude.
So he's going to have to be punching up for the first time. That's going to be a little bit tricky, but I expect Fulgham to look really good and find his ways because Fox, we know who he is. He's been in there with some solid names, but he's coming off 3 straight losses. So one more, and I think we've seen the end of Fox at the top level.
Yeah, it should be a good night of boxing. Remember, it is a double header, though. There is a big card in Belfast, Ireland, headlined by Lewis Crocker against Jose Felix. Some bad news for Crocker fans. He can't win the title. He missed weight, so the belt's only on the line for Jose Felix. But we're going to get underway here. Remember, it's a big one as well. Ryder versus Munguia. Underway here, 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is 1 o'clock in the morning for you UK fight fans. Have a coffee, stay up. It's a good double header of boxing. We'll all be there. Myself, Sergio, Todd, Chris, Barry Jones, and a host of other special guests throughout the evening as well. So make sure you stay locked in to DAZN tomorrow for a good double header of boxing.